Welcome back to Study Tip for IGCSE Biology. Today's topic is related to transport in animal. Without further delay, let's begin. In this chapter, you will find out about the differences between double and single circulatory system, the differences between the structure of the heart and how it works, the importance of coronary arteries, factors that increase the risk of developing coronary heart disease, and how exercises affect the heart rate, how structure of arteries, veins, and capillaries help them to carry out their function, the functions of component of blood, limb, and tissue fluid. Why is blood red? Blood is red because it contains a red pigment, color substance called hemoglobin. This pigment transports oxygen around your body, delivering oxygen to every cell that need it. And nevertheless, hemoglobin is not the only pigment that animals use to transport oxygen, meaning that many animals do not have red blood, as per shown in the table below. Animals like crab, squid, horseshoes, the color substance is blue blood, and the pigment name is hemocyanin. Hemoglobin molecule contains an iron at its center, but hemocyanin molecule contains copper. Some kind of bristle and worm, they have a color substance like green and red, and the pigment name is chlorocorin, and it turns to become green when it dilutes, and it turns to become red when concentrated. So chlorocorin contains ions like hemoglobin. Now we look at under chapter colored circulatory system. The circulatory system or cardiovascular pump blood from the heart to the lung to get oxygen, and the heart then sends oxygenated blood through arteries to the rest of the body. The diagram on the left-hand side illustrates the general layout of human blood system. So, the arrow shows the direction of the blood flow. Originated blood contains oxygen flow into the left-hand side of the heart, then out to the rest of the body. Then deoxygenated blood is returned to the right-hand side of the heart before going back to the lungs again. So, in this slide is actually described about the differences between single and double circulation. If you see at the single circulatory system, blood passes through the heart only once on a complete circle of the body. For the double, blood passes through the heart twice on one complete cycle of the body. For the single circulatory system is found in fish, but for double circulatory system are found in mammalias, birds and reptiles. For the single circulatory, blood travels much more slowly to a fish body organ. Whereas for the double circulatory system, when blood flows through the tiny blood vessels, it loses a lot of pressure that was given to it by pumping of the heart. This low pressure blood is delivered back to the heart, which raises its pressure again before sending it off to the rest of the body. And both oxygenated and deoxygenated blood circulate through the heart. For the single circulatory system, it consists of single pathway. Blood flow in a single pathway. However, in a double circulatory system, The heart is connected to the lung through pulmonary artery and veins, and blood flow into pathway, which is pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. For the single circulatory system, heart only transport deoxygenated blood circulate. However, in double circulatory system, both oxygenated and deoxygenated blood circulate. For the single, blood oxygenated in gills does not return to the heart and directly goes to the body tissue. But in the double circulatory system, blood oxygenated in the lung flow back to the heart and then pump to the different part of the body through systemic circulation. This is the diagram that shows the circulatory system of a fish, where you can see it only consists of ventricle, one atrium, and the color red is actually the blood rich with the oxygen, and the dark blue color is actually shown in the diagram here, is indicate that the poor oxygen in the blood. The heart. Function of the heart is to pump blood around the body. The heart is made of a special type of muscle called cardiac muscle. Muscle contract and relax regularly throughout our life. So the heart is divided into 4 chambers. 2 upper chambers are called atria and 2 lower chambers are ventricle. The chambers on the left hand side are completely separated. The blood flow into the heart at the top into the atria. Both atria receive blood. The left atrium receives blood from pulmonary veins which come from the lung. And the right atrium receives blood from the rest of the body arriving through vena cava. And if you can see from the atria, blood flow into ventricles. The ventricles pump it out of the heart by contracting the muscle in the wall. Strong cardiac muscle contract with considerable force, squeezing inward of the blood inside the heart and pushing it out. So the blood in the left ventricle is pumped into the aorta, which takes the blood around the body. And the right ventricle pumps blood into the pulmonary artery, which takes into the lung. The blood flowing to the lung in the pulmonary artery has much lower pressure than the blood in aorta. Function atria. Function atria is to receive blood either from lung or body and supply to ventricle, and it consists of less muscle wall. Whereas function ventricle, because of the right ventricle pump blood to the lungs and very close to the heart, the left ventricle pump blood all around to the body. Due to this, left ventricle has thick wall muscle. And other than that, the function of ventricle is to pump blood out of the heart and all around the body. And ventricle have more muscle wall and thicker. This is basically the diagram. One is indicate the ventricle section through a human heart, and on the right hand side is actually is shown about the external appearance of the human heart. Coronary arteries supply heart muscle. There are blood vessels on the outside of the heart. Vessel of the coronary arteries supply blood to the heart muscle. So the heart muscle needs a constant supply of nutrient and oxygen so that it can keep contracting and relaxing. If coronary artery get blocked, blood clog the cardiac muscles, run short of oxygen. They cannot respire, cannot obtain energy to allow them to contract. So the heart therefore stop beating. This is called cardiac arrest or heart attack. Blockage of the coronary artery is called coronary heart disease. What are the factors that contribute to coronary heart disease? One of them is diet. Diet with high salt, saturated fat, fat from animal or cholesterol increase the chances of getting coronary heart disease. On top of that, smoking cigarette. Because if you can see that several components of cigarette consist of nicotine. Nicotine can cause damage to circulatory system that indirectly it will contribute to coronary heart disease. Other than that, that contribute to coronary heart disease is obesity, overweight. On top of that, stress, unmanageable and long-term stress also increase the chances of getting and developing heart disease. And finally, you have factors due to gene, and gene that make it more likely will get coronary heart disease. And how to prevent? Prevent coronary heart disease, first you have to stop smoking, and you have to perform regular exercises, where essentially exercises can help you to keep you fit, prevent excessive weight gain, and decrease blood pressure. Avoid diet with high salt and also animal fat, because by doing that, it will improve your health by changing your lifestyle. And other than that, there is a drug that will be suggested by the doctors, which is to reduce cholesterol level in the blood, it called statin. And nevertheless, the statin is actually not really recommended if you can prevent by doing stop smoking, regular exercise, because sometimes by taking drugs, sometimes it will create some unpleasant side effect. And let's say once you prevent, but still you having or facing coronary heart disease, doctor might advise you to prescribe drug for patient that having the coronary heart disease like statin. Other than that is the drug that can lower your blood pressure and decrease the risk of blood clot. They call it as aspirin. And other than that, you have to change your lifestyle, or if it is fails again, the patient need to have surgery, like as per recommendation by the doctors. Normally, they propose to have the bypass operation or angioplasty. So if it is still not enough by having that kind of treatment, so the doctor may suggested the patient may require to have heart transplant. Okay, in this slide, what is going to tell you is how exercise affect on the rate of the heartbeat. You know that exercise causes an increase in pulse rate. Okay, when exercising, our muscle contract more often and require more energy. So energy is made during the process of respiration. So as more glucose and oxygen is needed, cardiac output, blood pump per minute, and the blood flow to the muscles increases. So by doing regular exercise, it helps in strengthen the heart muscles, that leading to an increase of cardiac output even when we at rest. Okay, below is a table which illustrates the functions of organ like arteries, capillaries, and vein. So I want to show you what are these three types of organ, that their functions and how the structure fits with the function. Let's look at arteries. What is the function of arteries? Arteries is actually, it carries blood away from the heart. And the structure of the wall is a bit thick, strong, which contain muscle and elastic tissue. And width of lumen relatively low, narrow, and it varies with the heartbeat, and it can stretch and recoil. How structure can fit the function? Because of the strength and elastic needed to withstand the pulsing of the blood as it pumps through the heart. The organ capillaries, the function is to supply all cells with the requirement and take away waste product. And the structure of the wall is very thin, only one cell which is thick. And the width of the lumens is very narrow, just wide enough for the red blood cell to pass through. And how the structure fits the function? No need strong wall, as most blood pressures has been lost. Thin wall and narrow lumen bring blood into close contact with body tissue. And let's look into veins. The function of veins is to return blood to the heart. And the structure of the wall, very quick, quite thin, containing far less muscle and elastic tissue than arteries. Wide of lumen, very wide, contain valves, and the structure that fit the function, no need strong wall, as most of the blood pressure has been lost. Wide lumen offers less resistance to the blood flow, and valves prevent from backflow. Okay, this is the diagram in this slide is actually the difference, or it shows about the structure of artery, capillary, and vein. From the table, you can see the different shape, what it means. The tip of the outer wall, which is belong to artery. But if you see vein, it's only very thin outer wall. And then if you can see a capillary is a very small lumen, and the wall made of a single layer of cell. So these are the three types that we already been discussed previously. Okay, blood. Blood, in this table, it describes about three components in the blood, where we have plasma. What is a plasma? The structure of the plasma consists of water containing many substances in the solution. The functions of the plasma is as a liquid medium in which cell and platelets can float, and it transport carbon dioxide in solution, it transport nutrient in solution, it transport urea in solution, transport hormone in solution, transport heat, transport protein, example fibrinogen, and transport antibodies. So the component of red cells is a bicurcate disc with no nucleus containing hemoglobin. So the functions of the red cell is to transport oxygen and also transport small amount of carbon dioxide. And component of the white cell, in terms of the structure, it has a variable shapes and with nucleus. And the functions is to engulf and destroy pathogen. And the component of the platelets, small fragment of cell with no nucleus, and the functions of the platelets is to help in blood clotting. Lymph and tissue fluid. What is the lymph and what is the tissue fluid? Okay, tissue fluid is the extracellular fluid bathing cell in the tissue, arriving into the blood capillaries and being removed by the lymphatic system. Tissue fluid is found in the spaces between cell in tissue. And tissue fluid may comprise of phagocyte. What is the function of tissue fluid? The function of tissue fluid is to ensure the supply of material, nutrient, oxygen into the cell, in tissue and organ, and removal of metabolic waste from tissue. And then finally, let's look about the lymph. What is lymph? Lymph is a colorless fluid containing white blood cell, bathing tissue, and draining out through the lymphatic system into the circulation. Okay, where does the lymph found? Where does it located? It's located inside the lymphatic vessels. Okay, and lymph comprise lymphocyte. And what is the function of the lymph? Function of the lymph is involved in the removal of metabolic waste and infectious organism from the tissue. With that, I would like to end my presentation for today. Thank you very much for listening.